All right, everybody. Whoa, sorry, I was ahead of the music. Good morning, everyone. This is the voice of Alexander K. Lee of MMAfighting.com. This MMAfighting.com official weigh-ins live stream, not for UFC Nashville, but for the Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz boxing bout that is going down this Saturday live in Dallas, Texas. We see some people stepping the scale here, testing it out. I'm sure we'll see our fighters soon enough. No delays. Joining me is there's the face of E. Casey Layden in the truck. I'm producer extraordinaire, and providing the video for you.
I'm a conductor. I have a full-on symphony.
Oh, look at Tara over here, and providing the video for you on site in Dallas, as he has been all week. The wonderful Mike Heck Jr.
Hi guys, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. I think everyone's doing great.
Wow, you sound wonderful, Mike.
I mean, he always does. Yes, actually, super crisp. It's like you're right next to me.
Okay, and stop
Good.
music.
That's what I like to hear.
Yes, so we are waiting, of course, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz. Mike, do you have any idea? Do you think they're going to in any sort of order, or do you think this will be like, an MMA official weigh-ins where it's just first come, first serve?
I think it's kind of like a combination of the two. Also, I don't know what's going to happen after everything that went down yesterday at the press conference. And for those who think it's like a ruse or it's like a ploy to sell extra tickets and pay-per-views, that is not true. There are a bunch of extra security, even uniformed police officers here in the weigh-in room after everything that went down yesterday. So that's Oscar Willis, everybody. So yeah, things are kind of intense. The mood is pretty intense here in Dallas when it comes to Jake and Nate, and not really with them, but the teams more than anything. So yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen. There's a couple fighters here, like H2O Sylve's already here, getting ready to weigh in. I saw Shadasia Green in here a little while ago, so this might be like a Fast and Furious one, or it could be just one fighter at a time going from bottom to top. I have no idea. So, but we'll see how it plays out, boys. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we got a lot of notable names here again. Jake Paul, Nate Diaz at the top. Boxing champion Amanda Serrano in her rematch with Heather Hardy. Diaz Army member Chris Avila fighting the Jeremy Stevens. That is not I've saw some people this week going like they didn't know Jeremy Stevens was on this card. That is the Jeremy Stevens you're thinking of, is world famous UFC fighter Jeremy Stevens, and as you said, Mike, Ashton Sylve and William Silva, and top. I want to say she's a prospect. I know she's a bit up there in age, but I will call her prospect. Shadasia Green and Olivia. Her supposed to be her toughest opponent yet. Olivia Curry.
We've just seen almost a whole season of tough with 38-year-old prospects.
This is true. Prospects is relative. Prospect is relative. Shadasia has looked like a destroyer in her first in her brief career so far. Great, very good for her to be able to get on this card.
12 pro fights.
12 pro fights, and she's had some pretty impressive knockouts in there. She's legitimate finisher. She smashes people. So
she's been pro since July of 2020.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Olivia Curry, very tough to finish, but so we'll see. Well, this is a stiff test. This is a legitimate test. Do we have a fighter? I saw someone just cross over.
CJ, you said crossover from MMA. What?
That was
no, I'm sorry, cross in front of me. That was H2O. Getting some early camera time. Listen, he's a young man with MVP Promotions. He's under the tutelage of Jake Paul. He knows to make the most of that camera time. So good to see him walking around. I will give an update. I know for people love our UFC weigh-in coverage. Clearly, we're not doing a UFC weigh-in show now, but headliners are on point. Corey Sandhagen and Rob Font. That is a 140-pound catchweight fight. Rob Font stepping in on short notice for Umar Nurmagomedov. So they both made weight. I think Sandhagen 139.5, Rob Font 139. So for anyone out there who's keeping up just on social media and just seeing the weights and going like, whoa, what the hell? Corey Sandhagen 139.5. What the hell happened? Catchweight bout. That is official. So you guys can keep track of that on MMAfighting.com. And we have H2O here.
$134.5.
Thank you, Mike. Guys, 134.5 for H2O. Ashton. Is he just H2O now? Are we not allowed to
Yes.
say his? He's no more first name.
No more first name. Yep, he's H2O.
Casey, change up the graphic. It's we took. I guess we have to take no out of that, or just like King Green, right? Bobby King Green. Until I see the legal papers, I
do the
refuse.
parentheses thing, like let me in quotes.
You know what? I'm sorry. He is Ashton.
There you go. That's a good idea.
There we go. Are you happy
Wow.
now? Are you happy now, Ashton?
I don't think he will be happy. I don't think he'll.
H.
I think he only wants the brand.
What do his friends call him?
H2O probably.
H2O.
No, but short. You have to have a little one syllable name.
Yeah, just H. Yeah, just H. What's up, H?
Or was it like 20 or Big Z? I don't know. This is a lot to talk about. We have 2 hours to talk about this.
Yeah, Mike was
great
saying.
Questions.
Mike, you were saying at the top to take the stuff that's been going down serious. This is Jake Paul wanted a real opponent, like an opponent who keeps it real. I don't know if he realized how real Nate Diaz was going to keep it, because he's not playing the game. You've noted this many times in the lead up to this fight. He is not. Many people have. He is not playing the game. If he doesn't want to promote in an extravagant way, he's not going to promote in an extravagant way. This is Nate Diaz talking about here. He'll be part of the circus. He won't necessarily dance to the circus music. This metaphor is getting away from me, Mike. Any updates on what is happening after yesterday's on-stage brawl? There's a lawsuit, I'm to understand, or supposedly someone's going to sue someone. A threat of a lawsuit.
So I think Jake put out a video, like at least that was the headline. But someone's coming up, I think. But hold on. Okay, maybe not.
Okay, all right, okay. False alarm.
People remember the I think the initial so what was it? Was it what had been? Oh yeah, Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva, and Nate Diaz was there with I think Chris Avila, and that was the kind of the first time when Nate walked across the weigh-in stage, and there was a promo playing, and it happened to be Jake Paul talking crap about Nate Diaz, and he gave the finger, and then there was a whole backstage brawl. There was a backstage brawl back then. Oh, who's this gentleman?
CJ Hamilton, 136.9.
CJ Hamilton, 136.9. Yes, that is Bellator's CJ Hamilton. For you viewers who are like, this guy sounds familiar. Yeah, this is Bellator veteran. I'll go as far as say CJ Hamilton making what I want to say is his pro boxing debut.
Yeah. So this is MMA versus boxing.
People love that.
MMA versus boxing. This is gonna be crazy. Do you think this is just do you think is this just like hype?
Is he the first? Is he the first one?
Is he the first one? Yeah. Is this just a gimmick fight to get people in the arena?
We should say Luciano Ramos also has MMA experience. He has fought for the LFA earlier this year. He fought for the LFA. He fought current UFC fighter Marcus McGee. So sorry, Casey. This is just really MMA versus MMA. I'm sorry. Though Luciano does have more.
So would you call Amanda Serrano versus Heather Hardy MMA versus MMA? No. As
correct.
A boxer versus...
I would.
Oh, you are? You are calling it. Okay. MMA versus MMA. All
right. Everything is MMA. Everything is MMA. Everything is pro wrestling. We know. Everything is pro wrestling. Everything is combat sports. It's all the same. So yes, we've only had a couple people weigh in so far. H2O and CJ. I love that CJ Hamilton is like CEE and JAY. I don't know why. It just gets me every time.
Yeah,
but
I believe Kevin Newman is about to step on the scale.
Kevin Newman II, who's fighting Kilisto Madera. So here's Kevin Newman.
And Shadasia Green is about to weigh in as well.
Excellent. So we got the gears are in motion.
Any polls? AK?
I don't think we need a poll right now, if I'm being honest. I'll know I know what to ask. All right, I'll ask about a poll in a second.
Kevin Newman, 165.9. 161.8.
161.
161.8 for Kevin Newman the second.
He seemed very surprised by that number.
Yeah, he was a little, but he's that's on weight, right? Right, Mike. He's not over.
I guess.
And Mike, and compliments to the crowd there. I love the applause. Someone
Very
is
nice, right?
Someone's applauding very professionally, like they're a professional applauder. Did you hear those claps? Those are experience.
I'm just gonna ask people: are you going to watch Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz? Yes, no. That's it.
Yeah.
Shadasia Green.
Shadasia Green. 166.9.
Was that 166.9, Mike?
It was indeed. It was indeed.
All right, all right. So there you go. 4 in the books. Again, people, we're still waiting. Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. I am not even going to try to predict when these guys are going to show up. It could be next. It could be they could be waiting to do the end of the show. There's going to be ceremonials later, I assume, right? So that's when we're going to have a little bit more of a show.
So in MMA, as far as ladies fights, I've only seen the highest weight limit. I've only seen it the highest.
Here comes Serrano. Here comes man.
Here comes the champ, Amanda Serrano.
Boxing weight classes for women are very up there.
Yeah. We had Gabby Garcia in MMA.
When did she fight in the U.S.? Did she ever fight in the U.S.?
That's not important. Jiu-jitsu.
That was in boxing. Oh yeah, hold on. Man, this is wrong.
121.7.
121.7. Was that it?
Mike, was that 121.7?
Another surprise look. 121.7.
121.7.
Now they're talking about.
Are these low? These seem low.
They're saying the scale. They're saying the scale's off, or that's what
yeah.
people think. But the look on Amanda's face told you everything you needed to know. She was like, "What?"
Kevin Newman as well.
Kevin Newman the scale seems much lighter than because the fight's planned to be at 126, and I don't think Serrano's ever cut that low.
Yeah.
Okay, so the scale seems to be light by a few pounds.
Nate's gonna be like 171 because he ain't cutting weight.
Back at welterweight.
Oh, he is cutting weight. Nate Diaz.
Yeah, Nate's just it's a 185, so Nate's just got to roll in and get on the scale.
That's not he there was
Never
a
done
weight
that
cut
in his
for Nate.
career.
There was it's as high as he's fought, but he did cut weight for this fight. I do know that.
He did? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't going to be much.
No, not much, but he did do a weight cut though.
Okay.
Last night. Nothing.
You do have inside sources, Casey.
Yeah, I do have inside sources.
You do have inside sources on this.
No, my bad. You're right.
Early returns on the poll. Actually, let me get a couple more votes in here. Get a nice 200 votes in. We are pretty strong, though, looking as far as levels of interest in the main event. Jake Paul. I said specifically Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, not necessarily the whole card. I don't imagine everyone plans to tune in for the entire card. But 70%, a sturdy 70% saying they will watch the fight. I saw someone saying in the comments, you should specify. The poll should be: are you planning to pay, stream, go to a friend's house? But I mean, I don't even want to suggest that people should stream this fight. You should, or unless it's a legal stream, of course, not this pirate stuff.
Yeah, if you want to watch the fight, pay the money. That's all.
Again, I'm not making any judgments. I'm just asking if they're watching.
Breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news. We're getting a new scale, guys.
Good.
Wow.
New scale coming.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Wow. What does everyone else have to weigh in again?
15 minutes into this weigh-in, and we got a new scale.
Shouldn't they weigh in again?
Shout out!
That's
shout
a
out
great
Texas
question.
Commission. Shout out
I think you have to.
So this scale being that light, that would be very advantageous for someone like Jake Paul, who is cutting I think significant amount of weight to make the middleweight limit. Nate Diaz, I think, is cutting just I don't know, a pedestrian amount of weight.
Yeah, I saw some people joking. Oh my gosh, did they rig the scale for Jake Paul? Like that'd be a terrible rigging if you rigged it by like 5 pounds off. Like that would be
Jake Paul coming in at 14 pounds.
All right, Amanda's gonna reweigh right now.
All right. This is the first.
So
We've never done this.
What do you do with the What do you do with the graphic now, Casey?
I don't know.
I think you have to wipe it. I think you have to wipe it clean.
121.7/126 or whatever this is gonna be. Oh, here we go.
Okay, 124.6. That's a huge difference. That is a huge difference. This is so they have to reweigh and everyone. Ouch, not there. 69 in the comments saying, imagine if CJ rehydrated. Like, imagine if any of the fighters started rehydrating.
No. It's not. Oh, wait. Why is CJ over then? That's weird.
Oh, he was over?
Yeah, CJ, because it says 135 on the Tapology page, so we don't know that's 100% correct. But
let's keep a close eye on what's going on. This is
it says for Kevin Newman.
Heather Hardy.
A little strange.
Yeah, Kevin Newman is supposed to be at 165, so that makes sense why his weight was low. CJ though, unless the Tapology record stats could be wrong.
All right, we got it.
What does BoxRec say?
Oh, BoxRec. You go to BoxRec. BoxRec. I don't go to BoxRec. This is an MMA website.
Casey, I would just get rid of the. Keep that first weigh-in for now. We can always remove it later. Let's see how everyone else keeps coming because I don't know if the first weigh-in matters. But this is very strange. Yeah, keep it on.
I don't think it matters. I'm just.
We'll explain to people later when they come on why we're doing the half for now. But we could
once again, Heather Hardy.
Here's Heather Hardy.
Heather, 125.8.
125. Man, people are 125.8 for Heather Hardy. So there we go. This makes more sense. So they're around the 125 limit. Okay, this makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I see people saying
relief as well.
Yeah, I am a little. Some said, what weight is Ashton Silva H2O at? Well, we got 134.5, but he was the first guy to weigh in, and we just moments ago replaced the scale. So we're very curious how this is going to affect some of these. I guess if they were under already, it's no big deal. You just don't worry about it. But
yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
All right, guys, we'll keep you updated. This is the kind of drama you can only get when you're watching an official weigh-in live stream for MMAfighting.com. This is extremely strange. It's a great website. So people in the comments, I thank you for voting in the poll. Can you also add why do you want to watch this fight? Fight Universal says, good job, Hardy. Yeah, good job, Heather Hardy. Yeah. I mean, a true professional. Listen, we were saying on a show, I can't remember what show I was saying earlier this week. I think I was on No Bets Barred. You got to be happy for Heather Hardy. Who's coming up, Mike?
It's a great question.
Okay, we'll find out.
Someone is, though.
We will find out.
I like the whole, people, someone's suggesting no one's going to buy this pay-per-view. Yeah, Jake Paul made $40 million last year for just no reason. Yeah. Well, look at his tattoos.
148.6. Money.
Noel Cavazos.
What was his weight?
148.6.
148.6. He fights Jose Aguayo. Okay, so again, we are using the correct scale now.
I'm just not sure what the actual contracted weights are.
I can find that out real quick. That's not a problem. But I was going to say, you have to be happy for Heather Hardy because this is someone who has been
6-figure payday. They said,
yeah, competing at a high level for a long time. She went into
Six-figure pay. She's making more
Yes.
You think she's making more than the main event of Nashville, folks? Of the loser, maybe?
I would think it's likely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. And so
Yeah, and you consider how underpaid she probably has been for most of her career.
So
Again,
as
she
soon
went
as-
into MMA. People remember her fighting for Bellator, of course. She went into
Yeah.
MMA and she openly said, "Yeah, I'm doing MMA because the
Boxing
exposure
pay
is
right?
better. The exposure is better. The
Hey,
pay
we
is
got
better."
dude, we got someone weighing in. I mean, we just
Oh,
missed
I'm
the
sorry, I
weight.
talked right over it.
That was William Silva, 134.6.
William Silva, 134.6. He is fighting H2O. So
Say it.
Casey, that
Guess
fight
what?
that fight is official. I guess we should have also said Amanda Serrano and Heather Hardy is also official.
Oh yeah.
Best
Yes.
producer in the game.
Best producer in the game. So yeah, Heather Hardy, good for her, finally getting that money from MMA, not getting that money from influencer boxing, and Amanda Serrano paying her back. She kept saying,
She got money influence. Oh, influence box. Oh,
no, on an influencer boxing card. Yeah,
Okay,
she kept
gotcha.
saying that why is this fight happening? Amanda Serrano says, listen, she took the fight back when she was a champion. Now I'm the champion. I'm just paying her back and giving her the fight. That's the way
That's
business should be.
awesome. I love when fighters do that. It's like
We got
nah,
somebody
I
on
want-
the scale.
Who is this gentleman?
Angel Beltran, 144.4.
Beltran.
Angel Beltran.
144.4.
There you go. He looks happy. So my guess is that they cannot ask some of those people who weighed in earlier to weigh in again, because it's very likely as soon as shortly after they stepped off the scale, they started rehydrating. That would be my guess. I could be wrong. Maybe you see CJ Hamilton again. Maybe you see Kevin Newman again. But it
CJ
would
Hamilton,
seem.
he made weight, right?
I think so.
I mean, he made contractual weight.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, as long as he wasn't over, I don't think it's that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got it.
Jake's coming. Jake Paul's coming right now.
Jake Paul is coming right now.
Tweet it. Exit. X information to our X followers. Is that what it's called now?
Yeah, you nailed it.
I'm a Threads guy. I'm just telling you.
All right.
Let me go to Threads to my two people following me on Threads. Tap. So Jake Paul, we predicting what is it? 185.6. Is he gonna be like right? He's get right in there.
Championship weight on the dot.
You think 185 on the dot? All right.
He'll be up. He'll be up momentarily.
How many people are there, Mike? Like what type of setting are you in right now?
Oh, Mike, hold on. Mike, I think Mike's having it
Here we
keep
go.
track of. Here we go.
Ooh. Do they have a hoop of shame there?
Oh, 2 step offs. Mike, what's happening?
He'll tell us. Patience. This is tense.
This is very
Okay,
actually
I have no
super
idea
tense.
what's happening right now.
This is tense.
Jake Paul stepped to the scale twice and was twice asked to step off.
Is unofficial. It was more of a check.
He's doing checking his weight. He's checking his weight. Okay. So we did not get a number there, guys. Checking his weight, stepping off.
Wow.
Okay, I guess that's allowed. I guess
Whoa. Of course,
you can't do that. You can't do that in the UFC.
You can. They just don't.
I
I don't think you can.
looks like
You
Jeremy
can't.
Stevens is about to weigh in.
You totally
Okay.
can. You totally can. The UFC just highly produces their morning weigh-ins. I see that all the time at just regular shows. People, you'll go to commission. Oh, can I just test the scale? They're like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well,
You can
I
do
don't
it.
approve. I don't approve.
You can totally
No.
do that.
No, I don't like it. Screw you.
You trust your skill account. Why would you think that? Like, you can't do that. Why?
Hold on. Jeremy Stevens weighing in. Hold on.
167 for Jeremy Stevens.
167 for Jeremy Stevens.
Guys, everybody weigh in. Come over here to the left. You have to sign your bout agreement.
Jose, just let me know. Khabib was allowed to check the scale in Abu Dhabi, but also that's Khabib. I think it's a random.
Habib
Yeah.
did that before the weigh-ins officially started. Wait,
Oh, is that right?
Curry, 166.7.
166.7 for Olivia Curry.
Olivia Curry, 166.7. Her fight with Shadasia Green. It's now official.
Oops. Oh, wrong one. That was
She won BTL.
yeah, she won.
She won between the legs. That's so interesting because Shadasia Green weighed in before the scale change.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, but what's the? Huh? That is interesting. I don't know.
That's
I don't
a
know.
little
Oh,
funny.
you're good.
Oh, is that? Are you putting the conspiracy theory?
I'm
out
not
there?
saying
Yeah.
anything. 160. Okay, so this is a super middleweight bout. So I believe it's a limit of 168. So Shadasia Green before the scale change made it. I mean, she made it. Okay, you know what? I have no conspiracy theories to suggest. I don't know what's going. I still don't understand
No.
what happened with the scale. So I'm not even going to pretend.
She was like the one that wasn't surprised. Everybody else was like, "Huh? No way!" But she was like, "Yeah, that was right." So
Yeah, I mean,
there's no look of relief. There was no.
Yeah, I
it
don't
was
think
just,
we need
okay,
to.
That's what I weigh.
I don't think we need to mess around with it. We are still waiting on Jake Paul and Nate Diaz. No sign of Nate Diaz. You guys just saw, or maybe you're just tuning in, you didn't see it. Jake Paul did come out to test the scale. Something I think should not be allowed. I think once the window starts, Casey, if you even look at the scale,
yeah,
you have to weigh in. You're just
gotta
like, nope. Oh, I saw
Commissioner
you.
Lee.
I saw you. Get up here. Get up
thought
here.
it-
Weigh in. No,
you- You were thinking about it.
if you're even thinking about weighing in, you step to that scale. You step to that scale right now. But we do have a few fights official. Amanda Serrano, Heather Hardy title fight. Serrano officially 124.6, Heather Hardy 125.8. And if anyone's asking why is there that 121.7 for Serrano, it's because she was one of the first fighters to weigh in, and then they later changed the scale because a few fighters were a little surprised, I think, at how light, at how under they were, including Amanda Serrano. So either way, she ended up on weight, no issue there. H2O 134.5 for his fight with William Silva, Shadasia Green, Olivia Curry on weight, and we're still waiting for a bunch of people, but. Let me check the poll here, Casey. Let's see how much anticipate. Still pretty strong, 60-something%, over 65%, 67% now. Overwhelmingly, people want to watch this fight. Mike, you've been again. You've had where are you at? Where's your level of interest on a scale of 1 to 10 right now?
I'm probably like at an 8.
That's
at this
good.
point.
Is that more than
think I
before?
see,
Less than? Is that more or less?
I think I see Roy Jones Jr. in the house.
Okay, let's see him weigh in.
That is him.
Is he thinking about weighing
so
in?
he's
Make him weigh
looking-
in.
he's looking-
Did he look at the scale?
That would be incredible. Roy Jones in the house.
Hey, Mike.
Roy
Wait, Mike.
Jones Jr.,
What?
I almost forgot.
Hey, Mike. Have you been to any Jake Paul fights?
Yeah, I was at the second Woodley fight.
Oh, yeah. That was the one I wasn't at. All right. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Where was that at? I forget.
That was
That
in
wasn't-
Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. Okay. How's it feel compared to how? That was a weird one because that was like Woodley coming in like 2 weeks out. Who was supposed to be
He
in
was
that one?
supposed to fight.
Who was it?
Who was he supposed to fight? It's a great question. Was the Tommy Fury, right? Wasn't that the
Oh yeah,
first
that was
Fury
the original
booking?
Tommy Fury. Okay, the original Tommy Fury one. Yeah. All right.
Casey,
yeah,
I
but
was
honestly,
Oh, go ahead,
like,
Mike.
this is one of those. Yeah, this is one of those cards that it's just kind of built. And honestly, like I'm kind of fascinated by the whole. I'm more fascinated by the Paul Diaz storyline, more on the Diaz side than I am the actual fight. if
What
that
is
makes
this?
sense. And
What is the storyline at this point?
I don't even really
That's-
that's
where
what's
do
so
you start?
intriguing about it.
That's broad.
That press conference was not great. That's what I should have put. I should do a poll later. What
Really?
did
You don't think it
people
was
of
great?
You
Like,
know,
Have you
You
seen
know-
press
It
conferences
definitely
before?
helped.
how
What
do
are you talking about?
How do you talk trash to someone who just uses the "I'm rubber and you're glue" defense? Because Jake Paul and his team have clearly worked hard to create this. Like, what angle do we use to attack Nate Diaz? Let's go like a bully. Let's say he's a bully. Let's bring up some sort of his past. Brawls. He's kind of always getting to these outside of the cage shenanigans. Let's go bully. Let's paint him as a bully. And then they go to they say it earlier in other interviews. They bring it to the press conference, and Nate Diaz just goes like, "No, you're the bully." And that's it. What? And there's no.
It was
And,
incredible.
and then Jake Paul is just like, he kind of has to go back to his list that they've given him of incidents, but it's already dead. Like, the angle is dead in the water. Nate Diaz is not biting on it. Ariel, God bless him, trying to do his best to like keep things going. He's like, Nate, do you want to elaborate on why you think Jake Paul's a bully? Or Jake, do you want to again elaborate on why Nate's a bully? And they can't, because Jake is using rehearsed material and Nate does
We got
not
the
care.
Diaz squad here.
Have you seen press conferences? This is as far as press conferences
Avila.
go. That was great. Like,
I could have done without a lot of the extracurriculars, that Nate Diaz troll. I'm not even going to name him. Not even going to name the site he works for. That Nate Diaz troll coming back in, bringing out kind of the worst part of Nate. If I'm being honest, some of the language Nate used, I'm not crazy about. And I'm not just talking about the F word. I'm talking about the other F word. If people saw that, but I really hate the whoever this Joker is that keeps asking this question, trying to get a rise out of Nate. Good for him. Good for him if he thinks he's getting.
wait, why good for him?
Good for him. This is just me being nice, Casey. This is me being diplomatic. If he thinks he's getting internet fame, if he thinks he's making a name for himself, if he thinks he's getting internet fame because we're talking about him, all right, we got someone weighing in.
Sanchez.
Don't you dare! Good for him.
Alan Sanchez.
Sanchez, 147 pounds,
147.1.
147.1. Okay.
I'm assuming that's is that? Oh yeah, well it says 147. So
We're gonna get the towel. We're gonna get the towel.
Oh boy.
Oh, interesting.
He's over by 0.1, so he's just gonna get the towel.
That's right. Yeah, 147 limit. So
I guess no pound of ounce at that weight. All right.
147.
all good.
147.
Towel of Redemption, Casey. His fight with Angel Beltran is official. Fantastic stuff. It's kind of got a weird rhythm to it because we've gotten used to, usually for most UFC cards, that's not always the case, but for a lot of UFC cards, at least one of the headliners is one of the first two people to weigh in. The other headliners doesn't take too long after. This case, I think we knew that neither man would be in a super big hurry. The card is built around them.
Well, why wouldn't they be in a big hurry?
Because of Jake Paul and Nate Diaz. They got other places to be. Jake Paul's probably doing a TikTok right now or something, and Nate Diaz is Nate Diazing it. That's it.
It's not.
That's all we got to say. So, Casey, you enjoyed the press conference. What?
No, I didn't enjoy it.
I didn't enjoy it. You thought it was hilarious.
I hate every press conference. They're horrible.
Yes.
But in terms of press conferences,
you enjoyed Nate Norm Macdonalding it, essentially, being the doing an anti-press conference.
he didn't anti it that much. He tried to anti at the beginning, and then he did get a rise, and then Jake did finally get him, and then Jake's like, "Oh, look at you! You woken up. I woke up the beast, or whatever, you know." And that's what Jake wanted and stuff. Jake wanted, like, come on, Nate, like, where's that? Give me that fire, you know. That's what Jake wanted. So and Nate offered. Nate obliged.
How do you compare this? How do you compare this to Woodley or Askren, which I think had like a ton of talking? Like Askren and Woodley were exemplary opponents from like a promotional standpoint. They were very happy to play along.
But
and
I think we're overdoing how much Nate talks. I mean, like what press conference are we referring to? Where like,
he's never been like,
gentlemen, I'm gonna change up my battery. Hang
All right,
tight.
Mike. All right, no worries.
I mean, outside of the first Nate, the first Connor fight, but then Nate kind of got he was
He's just changing batteries. Yeah, changing batteries. We'll have visuals for you back soon enough, guys. Again, I don't think anyone's in a huge rush here to step to the scale. We have 90 minutes remaining,
and that's what makes the Nate Diaz press conferences fun, because you just don't know what what mood is he going to be in? You know.
And frankly, he's a reminder that what we love about fighters is that they can fight. I get it. Where it's also, this is how it's always been. We always say everything's pro wrestling, right, Casey? You got to have some sort of personality. You got to have some. We also like people with mic skills who have like these larger than life personalities. But there's a lot of people out there who are just they literally they just want to fight. You see this in other sports too. Some people are terrible with the media. They just want to play baseball. They just want to play basketball. They just want to be a football player. They don't care about talking to media. They don't care about promoting themselves. And, Nate Diaz has kind of always been that way. And that's why he, ironically has the massive fan base that he has. He's as real as it gets. Love him or hate him, he is as real as it gets. And we saw that in full force. I can't imagine. I mean, he's one of the more popular UFC fighters. I can't imagine there's too many people meeting Nate Diaz for the first time because of this fight. But if they are either thinking, who the F is this guy? What is his deal? Or immediately falling in love with him. I don't think there's any in between. I think that is sort of the magic of the Diaz army. Thanks, Mike. Mike is back. We are also waiting on Nate Diaz buddy, Chris Avila, who hasn't been doing bad in the ring, if I'm not mistaken. He beat up Dr. Mike, right? That was fun.
3-1 as a boxer. Yeah, this is obviously.
3-1.
I think Stevens is going to be his toughest test. So this is.
Who was his loss? Who did he lose to in boxing?
I guess I gotta look.
He might be 3-0.
Way to make me look.
He beat Anthony Taylor.
He beat Anthony Taylor.
Oh yeah, he says 3-0. Yeah, I don't know why it says 3-1.
How dare you undersell Chris Avila? He is undefeated in the boxing ring, now facing a legitimate tough test, I think, in Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy Stevens, we last saw in boxing Jose. That's right. I almost forgot that happened. It was not that long ago. This was this past April.
A lot of people thought he
Game
won the
Boxing
fight.
4. And some people thought he won the fight. He
fight
also
too.
fought in the PFL.
It was a good fight. I didn't watch it. Was it a good fight, Mike?
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, great fight. Great fight.
Yeah. Why are you downplaying it, AK?
What am I downplaying? What did I say?
Boxing match with Aldo.
I just forgot it happened. I just didn't. You didn't even watch it. So
But I knew it happened. I don't watch a lot. I don't watch.
I'm not downplaying anything. I'm not downplaying anything. I am giving you this man's recent history. Jeremy Stevens. Listen, we mentioned Heather Hardy getting big paydays. I hope Jeremy Stevens making massive paydays. I hope he got paid well for that Aldo fight. I hope he's getting paid well for this event. Get that money, Jeremy Stevens. He went to the PFL hoping that he'd get that $1 million. Didn't work out. But again, this guy has given so much blood and sweat to the UFC and MMA in general. He deserves to make that money. So that is like the most positive thing I think we say when we're talking about a lot of these cards. Casey, is like we just hope a lot of people are getting the money that they deserve. So I see a lot of people rolling their eyes, when it's like, oh, Derek Lewis going to BKFC or whatever, or anyone after they part ways with the UFC, going to BKFC, going to influencer boxing, and it's like it's not
so
about
funny
us.
How this acceptance that we know that they're underpaid in the biggest fight promotion in the world. We just know they're underpaid, and we're like, oh, why is this guy in the UFC? And then as soon as they're like, this guy needs to leave the UFC to make a living, and then go back.
I just saw.
It's the weirdest dynamic, like with fandom. Go to the UFC.
Mike, Mike, we have someone coming up.
Yes, I believe Jose Aguayo is coming up.
Jose Aguayo.
Aguayo, 149.4.
149.4 for Aguayo.
Thank you, Mike. 149.4. Aguayo, his fight with Noel Cavazos is official. I just watched.
Good job.
I just watched this past weekend. Gleison Tebow is fighting in Russia right now. He was fighting in Moscow, and he was getting brutally beaten. He just turned 40 years old. He fought 28 times for the UFC. That's a guy who I feel like is fighting just to make money. I could be wrong. Maybe he's the love of the game. You guys can read about that on Misfits.
What is wrong with fighting for money?
Nothing. Well,
people say it's a bad thing. I never quite understood that.
It is a bad thing if you have no other choice. It's bad, Casey. It's bad. The guy has taken, especially when he fought 28 times for the UFC, he should not have to fight anymore. right? If you fought 20 times,
Okay, yeah. In
Yes,
that sense,
as
that
someone-
if you fought for like,
Yeah.
I understand. You say you're in Major League Base. You're a Major League Baseball
Yes.
player for a dozen
10 years, like 10, yeah, exactly, 12
and
years.
then
You should
yeah,
be doing
12
okay.
years, and then you retire, and it's like, well, I got to go back on the single A circuit to pay my rent.
Yeah, he just and he was in some wars in the UFC too. It's not like he had this easy peasy UFC career. 28 fights. There's a lot of
And the
wars
only
in there.
man to defeat Habib.
Not officially. And
I know, I hate that
Doug,
argument, but
now you've done it.
But
Now
that is kind of his claim to fame in the long run.
He looked good against Khabib. I don't think he beat him, but he definitely gave Khabib one of his tougher
I'm
fights.
joshing. We don't need to bring that up. I brought it up, but we don't need to bring it up anymore.
No. We don't need to bring that up.
Okay, so I know.
It's
I
a second
understand.
Khabib mentioned.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. He's fighting because
Yeah.
he didn't make money before.
That's what I think is happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it might be a bit of a Bigfoot Silver situation. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's sticking around because he loves the game. And if that's the case, Gleason, you do you. You live your life, my friend. But I was watching this footage from last weekend, him getting beaten up by a much younger fighter, and it was very depressing. And I hope Gleason Tebow is doing all right.
Would it be depressing if he was beating up the younger fighter?
No, that'd be hilarious. Then I'm just laughing.
You're a sicko, man.
I am a sicko.
You're a
Yeah.
sicko. All right.
This is true. Yeah, not wrong. I'm a sick man.
Yeah.
And that's this is what we love about combat
This
sports.
is
I think
horrible. Why is
We're
that
about-
young man not getting his ass kicked?
we're about to watch Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Okay, we're all a little bit sick in the head here.
Wait. So how old is Gleason Tebow?
He just
Is it
turned
4?
40 a few weeks ago.
And how old is Nate Diaz?
38.
It's 38. So is this the same situation?
I mean, we can ask the fan. You can ask people what they think about.
Is this
Nate
just
Diaz.
a higher paying version of Gleason Tebow versus whoever?
A much higher, much more higher paying, much higher publicized, much more intriguing to the general
doing it
public.
for the money, but they're doing it for the money.
I mean, there's some esteem to it. The general public cares about this fight. The general public does not care about Gleason Tebow
I'm
fighting
saying,
in Russia.
We're saying Gleason Tebow fighting for money. Is that what Nate Diaz is doing right here?
Yes, a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure what point you're trying to make.
It's the same thing, man.
Hold on, you're saying Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz on a pay-per-view that's going to air in North America that is getting major coverage from the mainstream media is the same as Gleason Tebow fighting in Russia. We are having a very strange conversation.
What you were saying, like, oh, poor Gleason Tebow, he's just fighting for the money. What is Nate Diaz doing right here?
Do you think Nate Diaz needs to do this?
He's got lots of black shirts without sleeves to buy.
This is true. They don't pay for themselves.
Those are designer.
Yeah, that's clearly not the same thing. This is someone fighting
Those
for
things
it.
are at least $45 a piece.
If Gleason Tebow was fighting Jake Paul, I'd be applauding Gleason Tebow. I wouldn't be saying, why is he doing this? I'd be like, yeah,
So basically, you're saying Gleason Tebow is taking brain damage for not enough money.
for not enough money. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're okay, that's your issue.
I think that's I think what people understand. Yeah. Yes, it's nowhere near the same thing.
Yeah. Can't believe people taking brain damage for thousands of dollars.
No, if you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Some
then we're talking about. All right, we got another fighter coming to the scale here.
I think Jake's about to weigh in.
And they need. Wait, what do they exchange? What are those? What is going on here?
They're bringing the towel, the blanket.
Okay, already. Hey, why not? Hey, if you know you need it, bring it up.
Wow, this is. So he's
Here we go.
big weight cut.
Jake Paul.
Ooh, upside down. I like it. Oh yeah, never mind. Okay. The backdrop of shame.
Or redemption.
The step and repeat backdrop of shame.
Just so you know, if you're trying to talk to me, I took my headphones out, so.
So is it 185 he has to weigh in at? Mr. Lee?
Let me double check here. He has to make.
Is it a 1 pound weight limit?
I thought 190 was the limit. Am I crazy?
190?
$185 has to be 185.
And we're not sure if there's a pound weight allowance either.
I don't think there is. We're about to find out. But yes, 185 is the contracted weight.
Hands.
Set it out, man. Make it official. Step back on.
So it's going to be unofficial, and now it's official. It's going to be official.
What is going on with this Jake Paul weigh-in?
Paul, 185 even.
185 even. There you go. 1/2 official.
Great work, baby. Great work. Great work, champ. Great work. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great work. Great work. You look good. Great work. Great work. Great work. Right on the money, baby.
All right, great work.
Great work.
Great work.
Great work.
Great work.
Great work. Casey.
Great work. Great
Casey.
work.
Great work.
Right on the
You.
money.
You. No, you.
Great work.
Great work. 185. A lot of weird. Everyone watching at home, great work.
Great work.
A lot of weirdness there. So, like we said, some people probably just joined in. We did see Jake Paul earlier. It was not an official weigh-in. He was just testing the scale. He stepped up. They said step off. He stepped up. He stepped off. Just seeing where he was at. And then now he comes out. A lot of preamble. A lot of Mike will be back with the visuals in a second. They already have the drape. It's not quite the towel, sort of the drape out in front of him. Because it's obviously a little bit bigger. He's going to be the bigger man in this fight. And he steps the scale. There seems to be some confusion. Case, did you hear what they were saying?
No, he just stepped on the scale, and then
Yeah.
I think he got off before the commission said the weight. I think he looked at the weight,
okay,
said,
okay.
I'm good, and got off the weight.
Okay, okay.
And the official
That
was like,
makes
no, I
sense.
didn't get the official weight. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, do it again. That's all that was.
Okay, so just a bit of weirdness, but nothing. I think everything's above board. People in the comments already screaming conspiracy. I think
Yeah,
185.
we have
Contract their weight.
That's why the commission allows media there, and that's why there's supposed to be eyes on everyone. Everyone's checking on everyone. I mean, the validity of everything. So yeah. So unless Mr. Mike Heck says something's fishy, he's right there. So
Mike Heck, do you sign off on that weight? Can you hear us? I think his cans are off for now.
oh,
If Mike Heck
cans,
says
look at
something,
you, industry
cans.
term.
Well, I got some cans here.
Industry.
Mike Heck would not let that stand. That's my best friend, and I know for a fact that if anything was amiss, you would have seen Mike Heck in the video, busting heads and pushing people around and demanding an answer. People don't seem to be super convinced in the comments. Casey, I don't know if you're seeing some of these not happy with.
What is
Just
it?
as- it just sounded
What are
like-
they? What are they suggesting? Like,
Well,
have you seen the UFC weigh-ins when they
What are you
as soon
implying?
as they get the weight on a beam scale, which isn't accurate as a digital scale, and then they slap the scale as soon as they say the weight, so you can never
What are
see it.
What are you implying?
Yeah.
I don't think I like where you're going. I don't think I like where you're going with this, Casey. Jake Paul is officially on weight, regardless of what we say or anyone in the comments says. Now we just have to wait for Nate Diaz to seal this deal. We've got a couple more people as well. Chris Avila, he's probably going to roll in with Nate Diaz. No surprise there. Kalisto Madera and boxer / MMA fighter, not the other way around, Luciano Ramos.
So for everyone, the weight limit is, as far as we know, 185, and Jake Paul came in on the dot.
Casey, I don't know if you want to save your pick for the weigh-in show. Oh, okay, I think we can take off the Amanda Serrano weight. I guess it's just not going to matter. The first one, the 121.7, it's not going to matter. Again, just for people who are just joining in, there was a scale issue earlier. It looked like everyone was coming in like 2 or 3 pounds lighter than they should be. So we had like 3 or 4 fighters weigh in. Only Amanda Serrano had to weigh in again because they replaced it like right after she stepped off the scale. They replaced it, so she just came back, but she didn't look super happy about having to weigh in again. None of the 3 previous fighters before her had to weigh in again. It's probably better this way. You guys can have your own opinion about it. But Casey, we'll have a preview show later. I don't know if we're talking about Nashville. I assume we're talking about Nashville and Paul Diaz. But I would like to get your take on this fight from the fighter's perspective.
So wait, why is everyone saying fake weight? Like, what do people think he weighed in?
Because again, it took a long time. There was a big delay. Like you said, he
There
kind of
wasn't a
stepped
delay.
on.
He stepped on.
He stepped on. He
stepped
stepped
on,
off.
He stepped off, and he stepped back on. Like,
Can we do the JFK? Do you want to bring up when we get a chance? Can we get the video? Can we do the roll it forward, roll it back, roll it forward, roll it back? Casey, let's Do you want when you get the footage? We'll roll it forward, roll it back, and I'll show you. We'll see exactly the point where he tricked the scale. Someone in the comments saying, "Why am I just realizing?"
As there's been a single Jake Paul fight where the next day there was a good good 2 days full of like fake bad TikTok videos saying how it was a fake.
Conspiracies. Yeah, everything. Yeah. He has not had according to the internet, which never lies, Casey, and is never wrong about anything. Jake Paul has never had a real fight. All his fights are fixed or rigged in some way. The Tommy Murphy, the Tommy Fury fight. So random. The Tommy Fury fight.
Tommy Murphy.
Tommy Murphy. The Tommy Fury fight was just to throw us off the trail, Casey. Don't you get it? Like that, they rigged that decision against him.
Jake Paul won that fight, but they rigged
that's
it
the one
against
he won,
him.
and they rigged.
So
didn't you know?
People go,
Yeah.
it can't be fixed because they fixed it
yeah.
against him. And
Otherwise, he'd be undefeated. So
yeah.
they're very smart. It's a hell of a
because
a
Nate
trick
wouldn't
to
take
play.
this fight if Jake was undefeated because it's like, oh, Jake's unstoppable. You can't face him. Yeah, but now Jake Paul faked like he lost to trick Nate Diaz accepting this fight.
I shouldn't do this, but people throw your best Jake Paul conspiracy theories in the show.
We're gonna do it. We have an hour to fill.
I hope not. We only have 4 fighters left. These guys get their butts in here.
So let me
always punctual.
Let me ask you this, gentlemen.
Yes.
Because Jed was making on BTL. Jed was putting this out there that it's actually better for Jake Paul to lose this fight to Nate Diaz because they'll do a rematch and he'll make a whole bunch more money and all that stuff. So I don't necessarily agree with that. But
the Conor McGregor series theory that Conor McGregor losing that first fight made their second fight bigger, which it absolutely did. The first fight was big. People forget the second fight was the biggest. Is that still the biggest or one of the big top 5? Right, UFC.
There's no official,
but that we know of, recorded that have been like well reported and documented.
It felt the biggest
back when it was a little bit easier to get that kind of information. Now it's pretty much damn near impossible. I'm trying to see. It's number 2, maybe. I'm trying to find a somewhat decent list. The reported number was 1.65 million pay-per-views, and that was definitely more than the first one.
Being, if Jake Paul loses, does the rematch Jake Paul losing? Does the rematch Diaz versus Paul 2 do better than Jake Paul versus whoever? It depends It depends who whoever is, right? It depends who whoever is. If you were able to get like a fight with Conor McGregor or something, that's not going to happen. Then that would do better. If it was with some other, I don't know, some other influencer or some, I don't even know who these people are anymore. These celebrities that step in here. That's what Jed is saying.
Yeah, a Nate Diaz rematch would do better than like
basically Jake Paul versus
80% of the options out there.
Jake Paul versus anyone else, honestly, outside of
almost anyone. Conor McGregor. I'm sure there's other names.
You gotta take Conor. Connor's an anomaly. Connor's Conor. Yeah,
Casey, we're not hip and with it. We don't know who the young celebrity. There's probably some celebrity out there we don't even know who's like, oh, if Jake Paul fought this guy, that would be huge. I don't know. I don't know what the kids are watching these days. I don't know who's hot on the streets. Do people even say that anymore? I'm just embarrassing myself now.
Pretty much.
But the point he's making is that a rematch. And I don't know why I see some people saying, "Oh, that's crazy that a loss." Like literally, I just mentioned Conor McGregor and the Nate Diaz trilogy, where Conor McGregor lost the first fight, and the second fight was the second second biggest pay-per-view in UFC history. So for people to not understand that a rematch, how much bigger a rematch would be than this one, I don't understand what the disconnect is there. I'm not saying I 100% agree with Jed's take. Because again, I think Jake Paul can win and find someone who would be a lucrative opponent. But the easy money is there to.
I think this goes back to what Ariel was saying and saying the pressure on this fight is on Nate because, like what you said right there, Jake Paul, he wins a bunch of money if he wins, and he'll win a bunch of money even if he loses because the rematch will be gigantic. Now, if Nate Diaz loses, there most likely would not be a rematch, and Nate Diaz won't get as big a payday in his next match.
Mhm.
But Jake Paul is
yes.
set either way, win or lose.
Yeah. I don't fully agree with Jed's take, but the logic. I can't believe I'm saying this in regard to a Jed take. The logic is sound. The logic is sound. It's not a crazy thing to say. What was I just totally just lost my train of thought there, as happens often when talking about anything involving Jake Paul.
Why?
Where would
wait?
where-
Okay, we have this guy Brian on the comments.
Oh, I've already banned them. Don't worry about
ban
that.
him. A UFC bum? What are you talking about, man?
No, it's just I don't even care about that. It's the
Yeah,
spamming. that
but-
bothers
yeah,
me.
it's
You can
spamming,
have your
but-
opinion, but just shut the hell up about it. It's
No,
just,
but that's
get
not
your message
even
out
an
there and shut
opinion.
the
That
hell
is
up.
just BS.
Listen, there's a lot of dumb comments in here. If we
Yeah.
banned them all, Casey, we'd have no one to talk about. We all agree. I'm kidding. There's a lot of hilarious comments too, by the way.
Yeah.
I agree. Sorry. Do we all agree that this MMA thing isn't going to happen? No, right? This is just logistically, there's no way, right?
For you're talking about Paul Diaz?
Paul Diaz. Jake Paul's with PFL. Nate Diaz says he's going to return to the UFC.
You can't say never. You can't. No way. You can't say that's never gonna happen.
Oh, I'll never say. Listen, I'll never really say never.
That much
in
money on the
MMA.
line. You know how much stupid, dude. Like when I started learning about Logan Paul and Jake Paul, the first big thing I had to get over is the fact that there were two of them. That took me like 6 months to realize that Logan Paul and Jake Paul were different people. Now I understand they're different.
You
people.
could want to say like Jake Logan. You're like Jake Logan or Paul.
Jake Logan.
Paul Logan. Jake Logan.
I had no. I would see both of them and think they're one person. I didn't know they were two different people forever. But like if I went back then and go, okay, 2-3 years from now, we're gonna be having Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz in one probably the biggest pay-per-views of the year. I don't know, top 10 pay-per-views of the year. I'll be like, that's crazy. That's never gonna happen. So I'm not gonna say Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz in an MMA fight. In the UFC, outside the UFC, who knows? Isn't gonna happen.
Mike, are you with us? Oh, Mike's grinding away down there. Mike will chime in when he has a chance. He is currently running around trying to figure out, what I imagine is a somewhat chaotic situation.
So we were waiting for both guys, Nate Diaz, Chris Avila from Team Diaz.
Correct.
And then the curtain jerker,
Callisto Madera and Luciano Ramos. Again, you can see the graphic there. We'll do a quick rundown. I don't think we need to do the music, do we, Casey?
No, we're good.
Okay. Jake Paul 185.
Can we say? Can I say it? I like the name Callisto. That's a nice name.
It's a really nice name, yeah, Callisto. What was I saying before? Jake Paul 185. We are still waiting for Nate Diaz. Amanda Serrano, her championship fight with Heather Hardy is official. I think the limit's 126 on that. So we have 124.6 for Amanda Serrano. Heather Hardy 125.8. We are waiting on Chris Avila, but his opponent, Jeremy Stevens, the former UFC star, I'll go as far as to call him a star, 167. Ashton H2O Silva. He wants to go by just H2O now, 134.5. His opponent, William Silva, 134.6. Let me read this comment first. Felix Kesserwan. Jake Paul versus CM Punk for his MMA debut would be awesome. CM Punk has a pretty big match.
That's actually that's not that crazy.
It's really not. Listen, nothing.
It really isn't.
Casey, you said
isn't.
it. Nothing's crazy anymore.
I'm not that against Jake Paul versus CM Punk in MMA. I'm not against it.
Undefeated Shadasia Green, 166.9 for her fight with her toughest test yet, Olivia Curry, 166.7. Alan Sanchez, 147 for his fight with Angel Beltran, 144.4. Kevin Newman II, 161.8. One of our earliest people to weigh in, came in on the scale before they changed it. Waiting for his opponent, Callisto Madera. Jose Aguayo, we just saw him weigh in recently, 149.4 for his fight with Noel Cavazos, 148.6. And we're waiting on Luciano Ramos, but his opponent, Bellator veteran CJ Hamilton, 136.9. Let's check in on the poll here. Still pretty strong. 65. We got a lot of votes too. This is a huge sample size. 65%. Are you going to watch Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Casey, what appeals to you most about this fight?
Is this multiple choice? Or
Sure. It doesn't have to be one thing.
What appeals most about this fight? Well, seeing Nate Diaz box. We've heard him talk about boxing forever, and even though we know that he's at his heart a jiu-jitsu guy who kind of fell in love with boxing, but yeah, I just want to see Nate Diaz box, and that's what I really want to see. I don't even want to see him fight Jake Paul in a weird way. I just want to see Nate Diaz box. I want to see how that his weird lanky pitter patter overwhelm you with pitter patter kind of shots. How that will look in a boxing ring, and I want to see how it looks against a boxer. We're not worried about kicks and takedowns. So yeah, that from a fighting standpoint, that's the most interesting. From a kind of a prize fighting standpoint, and since it's like just the spectacle and entertainment of it, I just want to see. I want to see how. I was at the Woodley fight. I was at the Anderson Silva fight at Jake Paul. And man, I gotta say, coming into those fights, at least the Woodley Jake Paul fight especially, I was kind of like, this is weird. I can't believe this is really happening. But man, fight night, the energy of that place was nuts, and it felt like a big boxing event. Like I've been at Mayweather fights and Canelo fights, didn't quite feel like that. It had like kind of a younger energy to it, but it still felt big. It still felt like, man, like this is a sporting event in the world. I'm here right now. It felt like that. And I want to know if Jake Paul and Nate Diaz is going to feel like that too. Like how long can Jake Paul kind of get that hysteria about him during live events? So, and those are always, it's an incredibly unique feeling in the prize fighting world at a Jake Paul fight.
And I think it will, Casey. I think it will.
I think so too.
Feel, because this is one of those fights where.
Does that make sense though?
No, it does. It totally does.
Okay.
Listen, this is one of those fights where it's almost hurt by them feeling the need to promote it as you would a normal fight, like doing the press conference, doing the pre-fight, like because it's not a normal fight. This is not some normal box. Like this is not a normal fight. This is not a normal boxing match. This is a Jake Paul, and some of the Jake Paul fights benefited from that. Like I said, I think the fights with Woodley, treating it like a serious fight and being it up that way, excuse me, guys, was the right way to do it. But with Nate Diaz, and the videos have looked great, by the way. Some of the pre-fight videos, really well done. But it's almost like it's just not the Nate Diaz audience. I don't think they care for that sort of thing. They don't need to see a hype video. They don't need to see a pre-fight press conference where again some idiots are allowed to ask asinine questions. They just want to see him do his thing. And when fight night finally rolls around, that Diaz army is going to be out in full force, and it is going to be. It is going to be something, because it sounds like, at least from some of the things I saw earlier this week, it looks a little tilted in Nate Diaz's favor. The audience support. I don't think I'm crazy to say that.
I think
so. Every hit he lands, every time he shows off a little bit, starts styling. So that crowd's going to go. It's going to be super excited.
But that's why Jake. But you said there was more. It felt more heavy on the Nate Diaz side. But that's why Jake Paul knows how to sell, because he has his fans, but people hate Jake Paul so much.
Yes.
They go out of their way to watch him lose. And I can't say that about – there's not too many fighters who you can say that about. Like, fans may not like Nate Diaz, but they're not going to go out of their way to watch Nate Diaz lose a match. They're just like, I just don't care. He's a bum. He's not important. But you go out of your way to watch Jake Paul lose. And that's what makes you a big star.
Yeah. And he's played up the heel angle too. He's really, because he hasn't done that for all his fights. In some fights, he's kind of tried to be
Anderson.
Yeah. Anderson was respectful.
Yeah,
even with Ben Askren, like it's not like he was the.
I thought it was Ben that was doing the more trash talking in that one.
Right. And Jake Paul almost was almost like a bit of a baby face. Like, I'm the guy going against an MMA champion. I'm the guy with no real fighting experience going against an MMA champion. All that. And for this, he's clearly turned heel. Again, if anyone wants to, I didn't love it. Casey thought it was hilarious. The pre-fight press conference we just saw.
I didn't think it was hilarious. I just thought it was a good press conference for what press conferences are supposed to be.
I still don't know what that means. But the point is,
build interest.
if anyone watches, Jake Paul has clearly been trying to be like the bad guy here. Boo yourselves. That was his big thing. Like the fans were booing, and he's like, boo yourselves. So he knows. He like you said, he's very good at promotion. People can hate him all they want. He is very good at promotion, and he understands. In this, as soon as this matchup was made, he's like, I'm the bad. In the combat sports world, I am clearly the bad guy here. There is no selling me as the underdog here because I'm a boxer and he's a pro MMA fighter. There's no doing that. There's no selling. I'm the bad guy, and so he's leaned into that. How much people have embraced that, I don't know, but they are certainly embracing Nate as the babyface, as it were. And yes, that is going to really be felt on Saturday. I'm super interested in this fight. I don't know if I made it clear. I know I've been kind of crapping on whatever some of the pre-fight hype and things like that, but I can't help it.
You're gonna be when they walk out in that first round when they finally like start throwing hands. You're gonna be like, it's gonna be.
I'm fascinated.
Awesome.
I'm fascinated.
One thing. Talking about one thing
Casey,
I am interested in
please.
too. Like, it's when you visualize it? Can you visualize Nate getting just like popping, getting knocked out, like getting like getting Tyron Woodley? That's what I mean. I can't see it. But so that's what's gonna be really interesting. But also, can you see Nate Diaz like boom boom knocking out Jake?
No.
Yeah, it's
Casey.
kind of,
should I give my prediction here? Because there's a lot of people watching, and they might not watch. It might not be the same people who watch the preview show.
Give an early prediction. You can change it.
Well, I should say it. I kind of already did on No Bets Barred. Listen to that podcast.
Yeah.
Never bet one. Never bet on combat sports. But two, go listen to that podcast. Listen to me talk about betting on combat sports. I'm Team Diaz on this one. I think he can win. I think I have to look at the odds again. He's a pretty decent underdog, right?
Hold on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
let me bring this up.
Keep talking.
Oh, I don't want to encourage gambling, but I do have to talk about the. If we're talking about a fight, we do have to talk about the odds. Right now, Jake Paul is minus 450. That's a massive. I won't say massive. That's a.
Mike, I lost your video.
Huge favor.
Mike, I lost your video feed.
Okay, lost video, guys. We'll get that back to you.
Mike, I have your video feed on you. Oh, there you are, Mike. But I lost the. Mike, can you hear me? I see you, Mike. Oh no! Hold on.
Be right back with you in a sec, guys. No worries. We'll keep you updated. Guys, this is the magic of live streaming. You are sometimes at the mercy of the Wi-Fi in the building.
Hey, Mike.
So.
Mike.
Mike, we see Mike, see you.
You're moving around. Hey, Mike, can you hear? Does Mike know he's on camera?
He's just fixing things. He doesn't know something. Mike, we see you.
It's on you, Mike.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're looking good.
Oh.
Okay, that's all right. He's just working out the technical stuff. Don't worry, guys. We'll have that back in a second. Let me talk about this Jake Paul. Jake Paul minus 450. Jake Paul by KO minus 150. So still favored.
Is he minus 4 straight up? Is it minus
straight up right now? I think it was less earlier. A little bit lower. He was still like minus 400 or high, minus 385 or something. So it's it looks like there's money coming in on the Jake Paul side. Yeah, the line is moving towards Jake Paul. Minus 450. Nate Diaz plus 320 underdog. I was on No Bets Barred, and I said, if Nate Diaz is going to win, it's going to probably be by decision. So I'm a little surprised that the decision line is so high, because right now Nate Diaz by decision plus 850. Plus 850. So if you think Nate Diaz is going to win, and you're like me, you see him kind of outlasting Jake Paul.
Hey, Mike, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, so Mike, we hear you. We hear you. And we see you.
We see you.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, kinda. We see.
You're
kind of.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. I'm multitasking.
No
Bear
problem.
Bear with me.
That's a nice ceiling. That's a really cool.
It is. People are commenting on the honeycomb lights.
Yeah.
It is very nice. It's like being in a beehive.
Like a nice
I have to
beehive. Like very.
So
when it comes to like doing UFC ones, there's always like charging stations and wonderful things, which we don't have here at all. So when you do something like this, battery drain pretty quickly. So I'm gonna try to charge this bad boy up as best
Mike's
I
getting
can.
this set up.
Hey, Mike, how about
And if
this?
something happens, I'll turn the camera towards the scale.
Are you
How's
on?
that?
Is this? Are you on your laptop or phone right now? What is this?
I'm on my phone.
Okay. How about just keep your actual camera, just keep it recording, or start recording whenever Nate or Chris come out. But
That's what we're gonna do.
Otherwise, just when they do come out, just flip this, and then we'll just use this for our feed.
Yeah, that's I figured we would do.
Yeah,
you know?
cool. Yeah, now we're here.
So
now we're
how
just hanging
so
out.
how
We're
This is for
talking
the hotel.
gambling,
How we
Mike.
doing,
We're,
guys?
we're talking gambling.
Ooh.
Again, I always tell people, please do not bet on MMA, but if you must, please use DraftKings.com promo code the MMA Hour. But don't do it. But if you do, do it. Nate Diaz plus
sponsor.
what are
320
we talking
under.
about here?
Great sponsor.
Nate Diaz plus 320 underdog. But by decision plus 850. And Casey, you were just saying I can't see Nate Diaz kind of just rocking Jake Paul, knocking him out. I don't see Jake Paul knocking him out personally. Cut stoppage is the one to be afraid of. If you are a betting against a Nate Diaz knockout, that cut stoppage is we all know so much scar tissue. We are talking about boxing here. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of it's just nothing but headshots. Nate is definitely gonna get busted open at some point during the fight. It's just, will he get busted open to the point where they have to stop it? I could see it happening. I could see a lot of people being upset about it. But that is your Jake Paul by KO bet right there. So if you're feeling confident about it, that's probably why. We're talking cut stoppage, doctor stoppage, whatever. But flat out getting colded like Tyron Woodley, I don't think so. Right?
Is he gonna?
What's Jake by decision?
Jake by decision plus 290.
Plus
That's not bad.
okay.
I
That's
kind
not
of feel
bad.
like how that's fight. I kind of feel like that's what's gonna happen. Is like
Okay.
Jake's gonna score early, and he's gonna hang on to win. By decision, I don't think he's gonna knock Nate out. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think he's gonna knock Nate out. And I think Nate wins the fight like with some positive momentum, but it's just too late. That's kind of how I think it's gonna happen.
Earlier this week, I saw. I'm trying to find the exact bet now. And it was Diaz to be knocked down at least once during the fight, but still go on to win, plus 2,000. And I think I thought that was so juicy because I think like he could get knocked down in the first couple of rounds. Again, this is a 10-round fight, guys. It's not an 8-round fight. There's a little more room, a little more wiggle room to recover should a knockdown happen. I could see Nate Diaz getting knocked down round 1, 2, or 3, one of the early rounds. And then just kind of waking up from that and then coming back and winning a lot of the fight. That's my idea. Like I said, I'm team Diaz on this one.
Oh,
Nate is here.
Nate. Oh no, we don't.
Mike, we got no video, but I think he's just switching cameras maybe.
Over.
Yeah. Otherwise, don't worry, guys. We will have you updated. We will let you know what is going on. Apologies for some of the little technical hiccups we're dealing with here. Mike is on site by himself, as is often the case there, guys. Oh, there we go. I told you. My best friend don't mess around. There he is.
Oh, this is unofficial. You sure
Okay,
that?
unofficial. He's just testing it out.
This isn't official. That's actually his manager weighing in. There's no commission up there. You notice?
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Unofficial
unofficial.
still, yeah.
That
Yep.
is actually his manager. There's no commission. There's no commissioners on stage right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think. Let's get the backdrop of shame.
the advertisement of shame.
Oh, that's not
What is Fansly? Do I want to know? Someone said I can't believe this is sponsored by Fansly. What is? Do I even want to look this up? Can I look this up with safe search on or?
incognito mode.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. So remember when I told you that Nate Diaz had to cut weight? See, he this
Diaz, 184.9.
I guess that's official now. I mean, why not, right?
That's official.
Okay, 184.9, 184.9. So, Casey, that fight with Jake Paul is official.
They're up there.
Nate looks good. He looks solid.
The former lightweight coming in 30 pounds heavier than 30. That's 30 extra pounds he has when we kind of knew him in the UFC at 55. Originally.
He looks good. He's enjoying life.
And that's not Nate Diaz. That's someone else. Who's that? Is that Ramos? I guess, or is that Madera?
I'm not sure.
Oh, we needed a towel again.
The advertisement of redemption. This is why I love boxing. I love boxing events because we know exactly what happens in every UFC event. You know exactly the order, everything. Boxing events just like, it's just kind of just go with it.
Let's go with the flow, man.
Let's go with the flow, bro. Yeah,
Eric.
Okay, I assume that was an unofficial. Looks like a little test weigh in there.
I think.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't say anything. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One
Just
thing
testing out
that
the
needs
scale.
to be noted for all the general people who are used to watching UFC morning weigh-ins is that essentially UFC is the only promotion in the world that produces their morning weigh-ins.
Yes.
Boxing never does. So for boxing, this is actually people are kind of like, why are all these people here? Why are we even setting lights up?
Right.
Yeah, because originally at the first when Paul fought Woodley, we came for the morning weigh-ins, and they were like, it was just a scale in basically a hallway. And we're like, this is our morning weigh-ins. And they were like, what? You guys are filming it? It's like, and basically, I kind of helped them. And they kind of, you guys just move over here, set a backdrop up. So,
how to produce their way.
Yeah, they were like, I was like, and I kind of told them, like, no, we're going to have like thousands of people watching this. They're like, oh, okay. All right, let's do this real quick. And if you're wondering why these look so different than UFC ones, is because UFC is the only one that produces their morning weigh-ins. So yeah.
Was that the one where Anthony Taylor also just started going off in the middle? Like he weighed in, but like hung around and then started cutting.
Yeah, basically did a press conference right there.
Yeah. Hey guys, like Anthony Taylor wants to talk. Come here. Like,
yeah,
okay.
It's like, all right, just doing it.
Yeah, you would never see that at like a UFC weigh-in. If a fighter tried to do that, they'd be like, get the hell out of here. Like,
and that's what makes boxing events so fun, because like they're not cookie cutter. It's just like, all right, you just don't know what's gonna happen every kind of press event you go to.
Speaking of the UFC weigh-ins, as I told people earlier, Corey Sandhagen and Ralph Font on weight for a catch weight bout. So both guys coming in around 139. It's a
how does Suarez make weight? 115,
yes,
right?
Andrade and Suarez both in at 115.5. No misses.
That fight, Andrade and Suarez, man, that fight.
Good fight.
Jazz, I'm so excited. that
We're not
fight.
here to talk about UFC, Casey. Come on, we're talking about the
we're here to
real
talk about
fight.
face punching. They're gonna punch each other in the face.
We're here to talk specifically about the fight event of the weekend. With apologies to the PFL of one championship and the UFC. Jake
There's
Paul
PFL this
versus
weekend?
Diaz.
No way.
There's PFL tonight.
Lies.
Semifinals, baby. Featherweights and light heavyweights. Come on now.
For real?
Jesus Pinedo and Bubba Jenkins. Jesus Pinedo messing up and missing weight, and he gets penalized 1 point on the scorecards because he missed weight. That's rough. That's
All right,
rough. 'cause Bubba
we got
Jenkins.
Mr. Heck here.
Oh, okay. What's up, Mike?
Hi guys. Hello.
Mike, how are you feeling right now?
I'm tired, but I'm okay.
It's been a long
Hey,
week. It's been a long
Do
week.
we have our main event? We have our main event. Oops, there's Giant Mike.
Oh,
Giant Mike. Hey, Mike, what's going on, Mike?
Giant.
Whoa!
Wow.
Extreme close up.
Yeah, extreme.
Wow, this is unbelievable.
Gentlemen, please,
Oh my
gentlemen,
God, dude.
please. This is a professional weigh-in stream. Mike, how are you feeling? You're tired?
It's been
How
a
do you feel
weird
about-
week.
Yes.
But
It's been
different,
good,
right?
though.
Like,
It's
it's
been good.
like boxing events. There's just like, you know what I mean? Like you just kind of don't know what to expect. It's like they're like you don't know expect the weigh-ins. Fight night's going. Who knows what's going to be happening at fight night? Where you're going to be? Is the press conference going to be in the ring? Is it going to be just in the parking lot outside? You have no idea.
And it's like 5,000 degrees in Dallas. It is so hot here. It's brutal. You can't even like. They basically tell you like, do not go outside during the day because it's that hot. It's hot. It's very toasty. We're outside waiting to get into the press conference for almost an hour yesterday, and I didn't wear a hat.
Ooh.
So I thought, yeah, I tried to like find as much shade as possible, like on the side of the building. It was not working,
It's hot everywhere because it's humid too. Yeah.
but we made it. I didn't. Yeah, it's crazy.
See, rookie mistake. I did that once for a UFC event in Vegas, and they made us stand outside the T-Mobile for like 35 minutes. And in the summer, and like, oh, it's a fight night. I'm gonna dress up. I'm gonna wear a button-up shirt, blah blah. And it was just like, this is the worst idea ever. I am showing up to these in a tank top and shorts next time. No way.
Guys, I'm going to throw up another poll. Pretty strong, 66%. They're going to watch the fight, so I think we're pretty clear on it. It ranged anywhere from 66 to 70%. So pretty strong contingent. People are going to find a way to watch this fight, whether by paying for it, through nefarious means, going to a friend's house. Let's start a new poll straight up. Let's just ask. Let me close this one. Sorry, guys.
You think
So
MMA
poll
MMA
making in
fans
real
have
time.
friends?
How does this fight end? How does Paul versus Diaz end? And of course, combat sports, it can go anywhere, but let's keep it the four basic ones. Paul by decision, Paul by KO/TKO, Diaz by decision, Diaz by KO/TKO. Let's see what the people are saying. The people are never wrong. Oh, jeez. I just hit my mic.
What would be the MMA equivalent to what boxing has had in the past 2 weeks? Like with Spence Crawford last week and then Diaz Paul this week, two big pay-per-views back to back. What would be the MMA equivalent of those two those two cards?
Mike, you have a better memory than I do.
It can be fictional. Just kind of like
Oh God, yeah, that's.
Oh, wait,
Like
Casey, you're
that-
asking like
It's two
if
totally
it's ever
different.
happened?
It's two totally
it's
different
never
things.
happened. But like but even just name names. Like what would be two fictional cards in MMA that would kind of be equivalent to what boxing has put on in back-to-back weeks?
This would be this would be like UFC 290, and then like Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis 2 in the PFL.
Oh,
I guess.
yes. That's actually a good
I guess.
comparison, I think. Yeah.
And then
That's
like
actually-
Jake
that's
Paul,
another
Nate
actually.
Diaz fighting. Jake
In
and
MMA.
Nate fighting in MMA for
Yeah.
PFL. Yeah, that's probably the
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably the correct answer.
Yeah. Yeah, the secondary would be just Jake Paul and Nate Diaz again, but in MMA, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for, by the way, who's still tuned in. I know everyone, of course, tuned in to see Jake Paul and Nate Diaz. Jake Paul and Nate Diaz have weighed in. Jake Paul at 185. Nate Diaz just a shade under 184.9. There's our graphic up there. But yeah, there's still more to come. There's my cat, Chris Avila, Callisto Madera, and Luciano Ramos. So thank you guys for hanging around. It's been fun. It has been, as Casey keeps using the word, weird. It's boxing. It's weird.
It's so weird. It's so fun.
It's official weigh-ins that normally are not meant to be streamed and broadcast in such a manner. But this is the this is the new world of combat sports. UFC changed the game, right? People want to see the official weigh-ins.
Yeah,
people want. It used to be this. It used to be boxing. You wait for the ceremonials, and that was enough. Nope.
But the UFC was like this too at the beginning too. The UFC for the morning weigh-ins, it used to be just a stage and just a scale. But then the UFC started saying the media's numbers, like, oh, we were getting lots of clicks for the morning weigh-in. So the UFC started producing it. Now the UFC has like a morning weigh-in show and all that stuff. This wasn't at the beginning. They kind of just adapted it, what the fans wanted. You know, the fans wanted to see the official weigh-ins. Like, no one thought there'll be interest in the official weigh-ins, but there was actually much more interest in the official ones than, at least from like hardcore fans, than the fake weigh-ins later. We
have Jose Youngs chiming in, Casey, with a strong UFC double bill. This is a double bill that actually happened back-to-back weekends. UFC 267 and 268. That's Jan versus Glover. I should be more clear. Jan Blachowicz versus Glover. Piotr Jan versus Sandhagen, Hamza Chimaev, Li Jingliang, and Islam Makhachev versus Hooker. And then we had also Usman versus Covington, Rose versus Zhang Weili, Gaethje Chandler, and Cheeto, and Frankie Edgar. Oh, I thought we'd agreed never to speak of that fight again.
He gets a little towel. He doesn't get the advertisement of shame.
Oh.
Yeah. It's unofficial as of right now, but it could be official. Kind of the theme of the weigh-ins.
That's a good way to do it.
It's official. It's about.
We'll get the weigh in. We'll get the weigh in from Mike when he comes back. Yeah, this is 140. 140 even.
140.
Okay. So again, CJ Hamilton weighed in earlier with a scale that was later changed, and CJ came in at 136.9. It was a super lightweight fight. So even if you think CJ was a little bit heavier than 136.9, it looks like he would have been good to go anyway. So just a little strange circumstance going on with the scale there. But Casey, CJ Hamilton versus Luciano Ramos is official. What the? We are now tweeting on Chris Avila and Callisto Madera. But yes, Jose, thank you for chiming in there with the strong suggestion for what was a real life good back-to-back UFC events. I still like your suggestion that the equivalent would be like if they were to do what was the fight you just said? You said Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis after doing.
Actually, I think it would actually be more of a I want to say they're too big of a names, but like GSP and Anderson Silva kind of fighting, but they were always the same weight. They were
like Crawford. Like what's the equivalent of Crawford Spence?
Yeah, kind of just build up. They like, I've been waiting for years to see these two guys who aren't necessarily the biggest draws, but together it was a giant draw.
What would be wow?
It took kind of years to kind of happen.
It would be like if Tony and Khabib had actually happened before Tony went on his crazy.
Yeah, I think like
it'd
Tony
be up
Khabib,
there.
Yeah.
But even then, it's
two guys who aren't the biggest draws at the time, especially.
But why? But everyone want to see them fight.
Yeah.
Why the guard is 1 and 2?
Yeah, if Tony Khabib actually happened, that would kind of
before
that could be a
before Tony
Crawford.
slumped. Yeah, before Tony slumped, that would have been it. But we don't. That's why we always refer to that fight as the one that got away, right? The one that got away in MMA. Omar M says Islam versus Volk is Crawford versus Spence. Not really, because it didn't have the build up. It didn't have the build up.
Yeah.
Quality of fight, 100%. As far as like, are these two of the best guys we want to see them fight? Absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
But there was before, there was never. It wasn't in people's minds for like years and years that they want to see. Yeah. Spence and Crawford, people talk about. I'm a casual boxing fan, and I'm aware that Spence Crawford was a thing for a long time. That's one of the.
Remember people going like, "Oh, see, boxing can't make the fight because you know, they don't do the big fights," you know, because everyone thought that fight was not going to happen. Then it happened.
That was so awesome and so well handled by both guys. Even Spence afterwards was like, "Yeah, he beat me. Like he just beat me. I want to fight him again. I mean, I want a rematch." And,
that's the fun part about prize fighting. You can get fights like that with almost zero trash talk and just going, "Man, that guy's really good, but I'm better. That guy's really good, but I'm better." You know, and that's all you need. That's all you need because, like, you know, it's like throw my highlight reel up, and that's all. That sold. Now this fight, you know, obviously you need kind of build up trash talk. You're selling the drama, the storyline more, and then last week was just like best versus the best. You know,
this is honestly the kind of a double feature that I kind of like because one is about seeing the elite fight, and one is just it's a circus fight, which is you know sometimes that's what combat sports is. It's a lot of, and it's a circus fight with like not a bad undercard. I think a lot of us have been kind of like joking that like, well, Paul Diaz is the only fight anybody really cares about, but Amanda Serrano is always fun to watch.
Amanda Serrano is fun to fight. Chris Avila,
I think Avila Stevens is so intriguing on paper. I think Jeremy Stevens should kill him, but Chris Avila is not a horrible boxer for where he is. Like,
yeah, we'll kind of find out. I think we're gonna find out. I think we more don't know where Chris Avila is because he doesn't. We've seen him win, but like. Yeah, you know, you just don't. You aren't sold yet.
No, one was an influencer boxing battle. One was Anthony Taylor, who's not a great boxer.
No. Yeah, and then Jeremy Stevens. Yeah, we know he's not like a pro boxer, but we know he's a guy that can knock you out if you ain't, you know, you're not careful in there. So
he can punch good. He can punch good to put it technically.
And you know, punching good in boxing is important.
I've heard it's an important skill. And like Mike said, he looked great against Jose Aldo. For a guy who beat him in MMA pretty convincing, pretty easily. Not easily, I shouldn't say easily, but finished him in MMA. The boxing match was really good. And, you know, so he looked pretty good. And then Shadasia, I keep telling people Shadasia Green is fun to watch. Yeah. So I do want to see if she's going to knock out Olivia Curry. If Olivia Curry goes the distance, then.
And H2O, high level prospect.
Ashton. Oh, I keep forgetting H2O. That's right.
And it's funny. He's fighting someone who has 34 professional fights.
That's a big experience.
30. That's dude. If you were 30-4 in MMA, you're like all time great. But in boxing, it's just different.
Yeah, in boxing, if you're 30-4 in boxing, you kind of suck.
Yeah, you.
It's like whoa. Yeah. Let's look at some of the other. Let's look at some of the other lines from this card while we're here. If I can get this up here. So we've got. Of course, this is.
How big of a favorite is Serrano?
Minus 2,000. Pretty big. It's really, again, if you're looking at that, you're really looking at more some of the props. Not props, but I should say some of the other circumstantial bets. Amanda Serrano, minus 135 KO. That's a little surprising. I don't think she puts Heather Hardy away. I'm surprised that is a.
You can get
minus.
2-minute rounds are hard. It's hard to knock out a professional fighter.
How is it still a thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
That Amanda Serrano Katie Taylor fight was so good. It was so good, and I was like, man, I would have loved but I mean, just you could feel like that it should have 3-minute rounds, but that's a great fight.
Yeah, and
that's upsetting.
I don't know. Yeah,
Hardy by KO plus 3,000. I would just say don't touch that. I can't imagine. It's boxing, it's combat sports, anything can happen. But I think even in her
plus 3,000 for Hardy knockout. Ooh,
it should be higher. It should be higher. She's not a knockout artist in MMA or in boxing. Like she's never been a KO artist. That's just not a thing. So I'm surprised that's not like plus 8,000. But I don't know. Again, I don't make the odds. I'm not a expert gambler, so I don't know how they do these things. But Serrano by decision plus 120. That's actually the way I'd go with it. You're getting plus money on Serrano by decision right now. So
what is the line on Avila Stevens?
What's the line? Let's go.
I'm assuming Stevens is a favorite.
I don't think he is. I got to look this. I don't see odds for it, oddly enough, on DraftKings.
No. Actually, yeah, you're right. I think I'm looking at Tapology, and this is kind of surprising. 65% of fans are picking Chris Avila to beat Jeremy Stevens. Wow.
Again,
Actually,
it's
even
Jeremy-
MMA fans, MMA fans, they may love Nate Diaz, but they are not picking him. Just in a straight pick him. 65% of fans on Tapology are picking Jake Paul over Nate Diaz.
It's not surprising. Jake Paul is younger. He is bigger. He is more athletic. That matters. That's going to matter. That matters a lot in these weirdo boxing matches. Sometimes a person who's just a more athletic fighter just wins because they have the physical advantages. So I get it. But he's not going to knock Nate Diaz out, right? He's not one punch KOing Nate Diaz. And we haven't seen him like win by like getting a guy against the ropes and putting together a combination and having the ref pull him up. We haven't seen that either. And I can't imagine Nate Diaz any in that position. So this probably goes to a decision. And the one advantage I'll probably give Nate is cardio. Right? No one's outlasting Nate in like a boxing match like this.
But he's at 85. This is a much higher weight.
Yes.
It's like boxing cardio is different. Like the way you have to move, you gotta put that road work in. Like your legs got to keep moving a lot. And maybe the Jake Paul. I mean, I know Ariel kind of pointed this out in MMA Hour. Is the whole Jake Paul gases thing? Is that kind of done with? Is that still a thing? Are we still going with that? Like he fades a lot.
It's not that he the thing is
he just looks tired. He's the guy
does.
that like he can't hide. He doesn't have a poker face in terms of if he's tired or not. Like some fighters are really good at that. Like they can be exhausted and still not look exhausted, but not Jake.
The other thing is none of the other guys who have taken a decision are really high pace guys. Taron Woodley's not a high pace guy. Anderson is a boxer. Nor MMA is not a high pace guy.
Yeah.
Tommy Fury's not a high pace guy. Nate Diaz should be as a boxer. We don't know. Maybe he won't be as a boxer either. We don't know. Like you said, it's totally different. It's totally different than fighting an MMA fight. But I see Nate Diaz wanting to push the pace in the later rounds. And I think you will see that Jake Paul gas tank test. That's a lot of muscle. He walks around with a lot of muscle. And we say that muscle often, lactic acid. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, it feels like Nate Diaz would have better cardio, but we'll see. Yeah.
Mike, will you be you're going to be on the preview show, right?
Nope.
No.
Oh, so we should get your prediction now.
Yeah. Let's get your
break
your
it down.
breakdowns.
I'm sure people have been asking you all week, heck of a morning and all that, but give it to us on the weigh-in show as we wait for the last couple of fighters here.
Jake Paul decision, but one that Nate's stock doesn't drop too badly on. I do think Nate finishes the fight with momentum, and Nate will do what he always does. See, if this is a street fight, I won. And people will be like, "Did damn right you did." So it's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one, but it's gonna be a red mark next to Nate's name, unfortunately. And Jake Paul gets the win, but I think it'll be fun.
Is this gonna be a boxing equivalent of his Leon Edwards fight, maybe?
Sort of, yeah.
Like where he definitely lost the fight, but you won the fight. You hit him last.
Yeah, you won. You won. Ryzen rules or Pride rules.
Yeah, Pride rules.
Pride rules. Nate won.
Elijah Dream saying Nate by split on DraftKings is plus 2,200. So if you're expecting some shenanigans with the scorecards, that might be the way to go. Again, don't bet. DraftKings.com, promo code the MMA Hour.
How about this, Mike? Do you think there's a chance that we're gonna get a fight where just one person would just definitively look like the better boxer? Like just you won the fight. You're just a better like Crawford. I mean, I hate compare. I don't want to compare this to Crawford Spence. But two great boxers, but someone just looked much better that night. Is there a chance you're gonna just Jake Paul's like, hey, it was a competitive fight, but Jake Paul was just a better boxer, or vice versa? Or is it gonna be kind of, well, that guy won that night?
Probably the latter. We're not gonna be like, wow, did you see Jake's like excellent footwork and boxing prowess against Nate Diaz? We're like, no, he's just younger and bigger than Nate, and he landed more punches early, and Nate didn't land enough early, and Jake won the fight. And then the two teams probably fight each other in the ring after or something like that. So I mean, it is intense. It is intense. Like, I'm gonna do a heck of a morning, like a little bit later on. I'm just gonna hop on and do one, and I'm gonna tell this story about. So basically, yesterday after everything went down, we went to like a hotel offsite in Dallas, and there was a chance like we might be able to get like a little scrum with Nate Diaz, and it didn't really work out. But Nate like came in and saw us all sitting there. There's like 5 of us, and he just came over and like sat down with us, and he talked to us for like 20 minutes, like off the record, like no cameras, nothing like that, and it was fascinating shit, man. It really was. Like this was the real Nate. I feel like when the cameras are on, you don't get the real dude. Like you get glimpses of him,
I know what you
but
mean.
when the camera's not on, you get like the real guy who gets it. Like super smart, understands what's happening, and the way he just sort of talked about what happened at the press conference and like Derek from Better and like everything, I was just like, okay, that's real, dude. This ain't a show. I can tell you that. Like, this isn't Nate being like, oh yeah, I get it. Like, if Jake comes up to him after and he's like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to promote the fight. Like, Nate's not gonna be like, yeah, dude, let's be buds. It's not. It's never gonna happen. Like, it's not gonna happen. And I think like obviously Jake and Nate they'll be pros about it, but the teams, dude. I mean, those. I'm telling you, I've never been to a morning weigh-in when there's a whole bunch of police officers here and a bunch of security guards. I mean, they're everywhere. They're gone now, but they were in the room just standing around like a dozen cops and a bunch of security to keep these two teams apart. Not for Nate and Jake, but the teams, because they feel like things are going to erupt the second they see each other. That's how tense it is.
There's like the promoters like just get him in the ring and then you guys can fight wherever. We just gotta get these guys in the ring Saturday night. Hear that first bell. All right, now all these security. Yeah, you guys fight in the parking lot now, but as long as they get in the ring and that first bell, that's all that matters. So, yeah, dude, this is true, man. Like, yeah. Sorry.
Thing, because Jake was like Remember Jake went on like a little Twitter storm about everything, and he was like, the guy who threw the first punch is in the hospital getting stitches. Not true. That guy was literally like standing right next to us as we read him the tweet. And he's like, I'm right here. I'm standing right next to you guys. So you know that's wrong. It was just, the whole thing is just so funny.
Like Jake sells a fight. Nate, that's Nate. Yeah.
Nate just wants to fight. And Nate's just the kind of dude where if like you get personal with him, he's like, okay, well, if you're going to say stuff like that, like, we're going to fight. Like, this is not like, let's wait till Saturday. Like, we're just going to fight. And he's just like, he basically is just like, I don't think Jake or any of these guys understand who Nate is and who his team is. They think this is like just a normal thing. Like, let's just sell the fight. We'll be buds after. Like, it literally is not like that at all. Like, they're just not those guys. They're just not those guys. So I don't know. It's very weird. The ceremonial weigh-ins. Let me ask you guys this: what are the chances we get like some sort of physical altercation between Nick and Nate? Will there be a shove at this final face-off?
Minus 1,500 odds, I would say. I would, yes.
Minus 1,500? Damn.
Yeah, like I think I will. Like that's what I'm saying. I think it definitely will.
Who's the first person to make contact? I think it's gonna be Jake. I think Jake is because Jake's a salesperson, and he knows what's up. I think Jake's gonna try to push the intensity.
Yeah. Jake will force him to. He wants to goad Nate into doing. First, he'll just get in his face and start shouting stuff, hoping that Nate will push him, and then if it doesn't happen, he will push Nate.
Yeah, I almost like that. I don't want to bring him up. That Derek Better kid or whatever. Like the first time, Jake was kind of apologetic, but then Jake goes, "Oh no, let's flip that. Let's just go all in on this." And yeah, like Mike? What would have happened if that kid walked on stage and got in Nate's face?
Okay, so I'll talk. Yeah, so I'm telling you, the moment when Nate stood up, like next to Ariel, he was going to jump into the crowd and beat the hell out of that dude. Like for real, for real. Cooler heads prevailed, but he was going to jump into the crowd and fight that kid. He really was. But he didn't do it. He was just he stood up and he was ready to go, and then he was like, "Okay, I can't do this. Not a good call." But yeah, that's part of the reason why Nate was so pissed off, was because he felt almost betrayed by Jake's team for allowing that kid to ask questions at a press conference. It's almost like Nate, like from a business sense, Nate kind of had like buyer's remorse, because like that stuff would not fly at a UFC press conference.
It wouldn't,
that kid
fly any press conference,
had
honestly.
asked,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, it would not fly. Like Dana would have said something. Dude would have been banned. There's no chance he would have came back to try it again. And Nate's kind of used to like everything going according to plan and just being very professional. That's clearly not what's happening here in his eyes. So he was pretty pissed about that.
I mentioned that. It's like I actually felt bad for Nate in that moment, because like, oh, Nate was being set up right then. You know, it wasn't like it wasn't Jake and Nate talking crap. I think Nate was prepared for that, but you're setting me up with like just people I can't get even with, basically. Yeah, people.
And it's not fun. It's not fun. It doesn't promote the fight. It's just this weird.
Yeah, right. It doesn't promote the fight. It was just kind of
again this loser kid. It's like just gets him a little publicity, as we've said his name a few times. So again, congrats. But it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for the fight. It's just dumb. It's just awkward. Again, it brought out an ugly side of Nate Diaz. I'm not excusing Nate's behavior. Like some of the words Nate used, I think are totally disgusting. I'm a little embarrassed for him as well. But that again, this kid, and I don't know how old he is. I'm gonna keep calling him a kid just because I have no respect for him. It's just got to stop, because I know Jake Paul's in on it too. I get it. It's for his website. He's like I said, it was a big setup. This stuff's just ridiculous. It doesn't have any place in. I can't believe saying that we're talking about combat sports as if combat sports has any rules, but it really doesn't have any place. These things. It just annoys me. And anyone who finds that amusing, get a fucking life. So,
whoa,
Jake Paul, if you're expecting more shenanigans on Saturday, I'm going to segue to this. Jake Paul by DQ plus 3,500. Wow. Nate Diaz by DQ plus 6,500. And I think the longest shot I can find here is Nate Diaz to win in round 1 plus 10,000. Again, I don't know how that would happen, so I'm definitely telling people don't even waste $1, because that's throwing $1 out the window. But it's fun to talk about. That I believe is the longest odds I can fight for anything involving. It looks like you can get plus 10,000 for. This is end in the first 60 seconds either way. But Jake Paul or Nate Diaz wins. Or again, we don't know. No contest. Fight ends in the first 60 seconds is also plus 10,000. So there's a lot to bet on. Again, I prefer not to gamble. I said on No Bet Sport I will this week just because I was on the show. And when I say gamble, I mean I'm putting $1 here, $2 there. I am not putting a lot of money on anything involving this freak show. There's some wild plus 100,000. Both fighters to be knocked down in round 1 and round 2 plus 100,000.
I apologize, Sean Sullivan. I've sent a
complaint. I also apologize. I also apologize. That was uncalled for.
Casey, can you create a graphic like the Zone did when Nate did his interview after the press conference? We apologize.
No, that was going on throughout. They actually had that. I think as soon as Diaz and Jake Paul arrived, I think they immediately put it up, and they kept flashing it occasionally as if people didn't know what they were getting into. So that was hilarious. That was very funny to see that. I'm like, come on, guys, we are only 10 minutes away. Mike, what do you got?
I don't know what's happening. I really don't. And I'm not saying like I don't know what's happening because there's things happening. I'm saying I don't know what's happening because I literally don't know what's happening right now. We're just sitting here.
We still have
just
Chris
waiting,
Avila.
Possibly for more. Yeah.
We still, who I assumed was going to roll in with Nate, but don't see him. And Kalisto Madera, who's still waiting to weigh in. So that's one of the prelim fighters, Kalisto Madera. His opponent successfully weighed in, as did Jeremy Stevens, who's fighting Chris Avila. So 10 minutes away. I must be getting a little tense in there. But again, this is boxing. I'm not entirely sure what the protocol here is if they miss the window. It's the same as the UFC, right, guys? Or not? No? Boxing? There it is. There it is. Good. We're covered. Casey, we're covered now, right? We're covered. Vox Media.
Are we good, legal? All right, legal. We're good. All right,
Yeah.
All right, legal's giving me the thumbs up. We're good.
Good. Vox Media is covered. Thank you. Don't want to get SB Nation, Vox Media. Don't want to get you guys in trouble. Update on the poll. It is, boys. It is as split as it can get. How does Paul versus Diaz end? We have 29%, 30%, and 30% through the results. So the lowest one, Paul by decision, 12%. But Paul by KO, 29%. Diaz by decision, 30%. Diaz by KO, 30%. So we called this unpredictable, and it's our listeners, viewers feel the same way. They really have no idea what's going to happen here, other than Paul. They don't think Paul can win a decision, and I don't either.
Oh, actually, this is interesting. Do you think there's any chance, mostly from Nate's side, that something so weird happens in the fight that Nate just walks out of the ring like, F this?
Yeah, that's the DQ. That'd be a DQ. That'd be DQ.
That'd be DQ, yeah.
That's why I bring up the DQ lines. I'm not telling people to bet on them, but I'm saying if you are one of those people who loves chaos and thinks that that's a possibility, because with these two, I feel like a lot is on the table, more so than
I don't know what could happen, but I don't know. There's something weird where Nate's like, F this, I'm out of here. I'm just out of here.
Jake Paul plus 3,500 to win by DQ. That's all I'm saying. Plus 3,500 to win by DQ. I assume that's
worth $1. I think that's worth
a dollar, right?
Yeah,
you get 350. You get $350 if you. Is that how gambling works? That's right. 350, 35, 35. Don't bet on it. Don't bet on combat sports,
Dude, just to throw a buck on both.
Yeah.
Again, it probably is not going to end on a DQ, but should it? Sorry, you would win $35. I don't know what I'm saying. $1 would turn to $35 should that happen. So, really, do not listen to me. Mike, is there more? You just said there would be.
Yeah, there will be. I don't know when, so just be prepared. It's just going to happen. There will be no warning. There will be no, it's happening at this time. It's just going to happen. So, and I don't know when. So just, yes, but don't. But that's all I could say is yes.
It might be a heck of an early afternoon.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying Nate would get DQ'd by choking Jake out as well. I don't know. I'm trying to wonder, how could Jake get DQ'd? What could Jake do? His entourage getting involved, maybe? I don't know what Jake could.
Punch him in the ding ding.
Yeah, punch him in the ding ding too many times. Sure.
Too much clinching, maybe too much trash talk, a la John Gotti III, Floyd Mayweather.
Ivan Kraft has another Nate DQ suggestion. Derek from Better Media shows up. Nate goes into the crowd to whoop him.
And you know what? No one would have an issue with that. Everyone would be like,
we'd all feel like we got our money's worth.
"Yeah, money's worth. That's fine."
That would be incredible theater.
No, that's not.
That's the.
But imagine imagine if you got to write that headline. Nate Diaz DQ'd for jumping into the crowd and beating up Derek from Better.
I don't like this kid, but I don't actually want to see him get his ass beaten by Nate Diaz. That would not bring me joy.
That's the influenced boxer version of Khabib jumping out of the cage to fight Dylan Dennis. Like we've already seen this.
That'd be
in
like
MMA.
exactly. That'd be the exact equivalent.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so Nate knocks out Jake, and then hops out of the ring and then attacks Derek in the crowd.
This is the kind of fight that happens when.
Oh my god!
This is the kind of talk that happens when there's 6 minutes left at a boxing weigh-ins that aren't supposed to be broadcast normally.
Is there a bet? Not that Nate Diaz will get arrested, that he will leave the ring in handcuffs.
You could probably find that. DraftKings does not have that, but I'm sure you could find that somewhere. Find weirdpropbets.com.
Oh my gosh.
Ashton Sylve, massive, H2O, he's minus 3,500. He's actually the biggest favorite, just straight up, just ignoring all props and everything. Minus 3,500. So expects to run through William Silva, Shadasia Green, minus 2,500, Serrano, minus 2,000. So, but as I said, Jake Paul, pretty sizable, minus 450. I wonder how much betting action a fight like this could bring in, but like I said, there's quite a bit of fun to be had. I think there's quite a bit of fun to be had. So
no Chris Avila. So a guy who fought at 145 in the UFC seems to be having trouble making the 168 weight limit.
Maybe so.
Or
Mike, are you hearing anything about?
No, I haven't seen him. I haven't even seen
No.
him yet.
But do they have the hard limit, same as UFC? Is it going to be once it hits 11
He only has
o'clock
5 minutes.
local
He
time?
has to weigh in this window.
It does he? I don't know how boxing works. I'm confused.
No, you still have to weigh in this window. I mean, I don't know if he gets an extra hour if he misses weight, but you still have to weigh in. I mean, that's
Yeah.
And you don't see any of their camps there, right? You don't like no one seems to be like.
I mean, they were all here earlier.
Yeah.
And then I haven't seen him since. So
That's weird. You would think they'd be together, those two guys.
Yeah.
Nate
Callisto Madera also still to weigh in. So it's not just Chris Avila. It is 2 people we are still waiting. Did we saw someone testing? Oh no, they were testing and then it became official. Right? That was what was that? That was Luciano Ramos, I think, came in and just hit it. So no issue there.
So
counting down. We're under the 4
So
minute mark.
the pay-per-view portion of the card, does that start with what does it start at? Is it the green fight or does it start at the H2O fight? Is it 4 fights on the pay-per-view? Or do you know?
Let's see the official lineup on DAZN.
it's the green.
Let's make sure here.
It starts
Sanchez.
at Green Curry.
I think it starts with Sanchez Beltran.
Oh, 6 fights on the main card. That's a long main card.
Yeah.
Let me find the official card here. Zone.com not doing a great job of.
It's on MMA Fighting.
I don't trust
Great
that
website.
website. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, yes, that is.
Oh yeah, by the way, go vote for us for media source of the
Definitely
year.
vote for us at the MMA Awards.
Also, don't trust that website. Good job, AK.
I don't know. The order is so.
Can we put up another apology?
I'm not apologizing for that. I'm trying to find a proper order. Yeah, listen, MMAfighting.com is reliable as anyone, right? There's just some very strange. Boxing is so strange sometimes. What time is Jake Paul? Thank you to Zone.com. Jake Paul, Nate Diaz, Amanda Serrano, Heather Hardy, William Avila, Ashton Sylve, Chris Avila, Jeremy Stevens, Shadasia Green, Olivia Curry. So I do think that Mike and MMAfighting.com are correct. 5-fight main card. Yes, and all the fights that I think MMA fans will be interested in are on the main card.
Oh, okay.
Might be some CJ Hamilton lovers out there. I'm not sure. He
Those are
seems
gonna
to be
air, I think.
opening the show.
I think those are going to air for free.
That's
Right.
Fights.
Yes.
YouTube
Oh, yeah.
fights,
Yes. Yeah. You should still be able to
Yeah.
watch them. Let me see. DAZN's YouTube. Pretty sure that they will have
Probably on Jake's. Probably on Nate's.
boxing countdown show. Those fights will be available somewhere, guys. So, and we will have a link on MMAfighting.com. And don't you guys worry about that. But yes, otherwise it's on DAZN. Is it only on DAZN?
No, it's on
And
ESPN Plus too.
ESPN Plus. That is the magnitude of this fight that these giants, the broadcasting giants, are teaming up. Under 2 minutes to go. I'm guessing we are not going to see these gentlemen step up. So, guys, keep an eye on MMAfighting.com. I have been updating the weigh-ins page when possible, and we still have a no number next to Chris Avila, no number next to Callisto Madera, but we will let you know ahead of time. We'll probably also alert everyone if Chris Avila doesn't make it. I know there's some interest there.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll tell.
I mean,
I'll just drop you something in Slack.
Do it.
Okay.
Do
If
it.
you guys
Okay.
want to just bounce out of here.
I'm not in any hurry to go anywhere.
we got 1 more minute. He says 1 minute.
got 1 more minute.
We got 1 minute.
Yeah. Well,
When
wait.
when they hit
Yeah.
0, I'm hitting the music though.
Hit the music. Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, Casey's hard ass. I keep forgetting sometimes.
Whoa.
No nonsense.
Up. Put it up.
But there it is.
Jeez. Okay.
You owe like 75 cents to the MMA Fighting swear.
My
jar,
bad.
Okay.
My bad. I'll put it in the jar next time I'm at the office.
30 seconds.
jar.
Yeah,
The
30
jar,
seconds to go.
The jar of redemption.
I hope so. The good news is, guys, we did have Jake Paul and Nate Diaz weigh in. Jake Paul at 185 on the dot. Nate Diaz 184.9, so 1/10 of a pound under. And that fight's going. And we got Amanda Serrano and Heather Hardy. Really, everyone else. All the big fights, though. I know a lot of people want to see Chris Avila, Jeremy
10,
Stevens.
9, 8. And that fight is officially. Wah, wah.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, somewhere else.
I'm trying to see if anyone is talking about Chris Avila on the web. You know, sometimes I like to go to the dark web, guys, but literally no one has commented on it. That's a bit weird. Okay, great.
So yeah, two fights are now off. They didn't show the two fighters. Didn't show
Well,
up.
you know, maybe there's some backstage negotiations that have already gone on that we're not aware of. Right? That's a thing.
That's the official skill. Official skill.
Nothing is official with this. It's Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Nothing is official. Nothing is real anymore.
This is true.
Nothing is real anymore.
I saw Barbie last night.
I heard that's good.
It's awesome. I loved it. I wanted the Waynes to be over before I talk to you about Barbie.
Yeah. You got to sneak that in.
Yeah. It's great.
I'll end this current poll. As I said before, not much changed. People completely split between Diaz by KO, Diaz by decision, Paul by KO, all around 30%. Diaz by KO number one, slightly at 30%. Everything else just a percentage
Can we have
point or two behind.
Can we have Mike do the rundown?
The rain dance? Yeah, I think we had to, and who knows? Maybe it'll get one of these guys to come out. Not that it
Mike,
makes a difference now, but
can you read the weights? Can you
please.
Please. This is exciting. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Here we go. All right, let me get my music. All right. 3, 2, 1.
The sounds. There we go. Jake Paul, Nate Diaz tomorrow night in Dallas. Jake Paul weighed in at 185. Nate Diaz 184.9. Amanda Serrano 124.6. Fights Heather Hardy 125.8. Jeremy Stevens weighed in at 167. Chris Avila. I don't see anything. H2O Sylve 134.5. William Silva 134.6. Shadasia Green 166.9, taking on Olivia Curry, weighted at 166.7. Alan Sanchez 147, fading Angel Beltran 144.4. Kevin Newman 161.8. We have not seen his opponent yet. Jose Aguayo 149.4, taking on Noel Cavazos 148.6, and Luciano Ramos 140, taking on Bellator vets CJ Hamilton, who weighted at 136.9. And all this music did was it didn't bring in any of the fighters. More media members are just like, I think we're done. So the room is actually emptying out.
All right, they send you guys out of there. Mike, thank you so much for the on-site coverage, providing the video, letting us know exactly how much people weighed in, letting us know if anyone's going to show up. Producer Casey, thank you for producing, as always, doing your producer thing. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. I should have said this before after we started our peak viewership, but thank you, everyone who stuck around. You guys are the best viewers, best listeners, best commenters in the game. Thank you. And this is Alexander Cayley signing off for MMAfighting.com.